take up every corner of my mind. What you gonna do now?
Thanks for making us number one.
The Lakeshore's finest mix of music. Mom FM.
102.7 WMOM, Pentwater, Ludington, Bear Lake, and all of West Michigan. It's 8 o'clock. Good morning and welcome to Leading West Michigan, a show about success and featuring local leaders and people in local business.
Good morning, West Michigan. This is Leading West Michigan on WMOM. This is Bill Kerans speaking with you, and we have a very special guest today. One of the great things about this Saturday morning program is I get to talk to people I really like and respect, and one of them is Drew Dostal, the president and market leader for the North Region for now Corewell Health. Mm-hmm. Drew, we welcome you to the program today.
Thank you, Bill. Good to be here. I'm very happy to see everybody again. It's been a while since I've been in the studio, so I'm happy for the opportunity.
Back when you and I worked together, it was just here in Ludington, and things have changed a lot over the years as we've gone through Spectrum Health and into Corewell Health. What hospitals are you in charge of now in the North Region?
Yeah, the only thing we can count on is change, right?
That's right.
So right now I'm in charge of the Greenville Hospital in Greenville, Michigan, and north of there I have Big Rapids and Reed City. And then moving to the west we have Gerber Hospital, which is right there in Fremont, Michigan, and here in Ludington as well.
Mm-hmm. Wow, that's a big area to be responsible for. We'll be talking about what's happening with those facilities and the evolution of healthcare in our area as well as the region. But there's a lot more to Drew Dostal than just his role with the hospital. So you're just about ready to celebrate about the 4th anniversary of this new role that you have?
That's right. We've been back in the area for the last 4 years, and it's been a wonderful and we were talking about this earlier, it's a very fast 4 years.
Well, you've been involved in a very big story that's been in the news lately, and that's the big international technology glitch that has brought the airlines to a halt and caused a lot of other havoc. Has anything happened here with our hospitals?
Yeah, it was quite a day yesterday. We started with phone calls about 2 in the morning that we had a bunch of the blue screens show up on our computers, and we have a lot of computers. Everything's computerized. So we mobilized. Everybody was on their way into the hospital from leadership standpoint that we could get, and a lot of the leaders come in normally anyway at 6 in the morning. So we started. Luckily enough, any computer that wasn't attached to the system or was turned off didn't take the download. So a lot of them still worked, and we were able to deploy those extra computers we had so that we could continue to run every single department that we had. We ended up canceling some procedures in the surgery department that we feel horrible about doing. Nobody wants their surgery canceled. I totally understand that. However, we had to make sure we were going to do it safely. So yeah, that was a big effect, and then a lot of the physicians in the ER and our hospitalists were working off of shared computers, so they had to be a little bit. They were working off paper to some degree, and then they were transcribing, so it slowed them down as well. So my hats off to that team for the way they responded. But yes, it was a big deal. The whole system was involved. Obviously, the whole world was involved. So that's where our deep bench of Corewell Health comes in very, very handy. We had digital services people from all over the state that were able to deploy to all the different sites because you had to physically touch each one of the computers to make it come back up, and they did it. And so we're 100% up as far as I know in the hospital. Nothing changed overnight that I could see.
Well, congratulations for that. Kind of a scary moment for a lot of people.
It was. I think I woke up with when I got my call at 2 in the morning. I wake up foggy like everybody else, and I was thinking, I wonder if we're under a cyber attack. But that's the first thing they told us is no, it's not a cyber attack. It was an upgrade that everybody suffered. But it just shows how reliant we all are in this interconnected world for things like an event, something Microsoft actually uses and rolls out. It wasn't Microsoft's issue, but it was CrowdStrike. So it's just ubiquitous now, and you have one problem, everyone has a problem. So I guess we all share something in common, right? So let's look for the commonalities.
Well, we mentioned you've been in this role and as you say, back in this area for the last 4 years. But you've got a much deeper history around here than 4 years.
I do, yeah. I actually moved here. The first time I moved here was my senior year of high school, which was back in the 80s. And I graduated and went in the military and came back after that and met what was to be my future wife at the time. And we stayed here for 20 plus years working in the area and raising our children. And as soon as they were old enough to move out of the house and go do their things, that's what we did. We took an opportunity to go run some things out west. So we did. We left and came back during COVID, which it was very surreal. Even though I know Ludington area and Mason County like the back of my hand, it was hard to get back into it a little bit, just simply because you weren't doing the things that you would do, coming back to a community and seeing everybody. And so that was a slow rollout, but I think we've caught up now. And my family, if we want to talk a little bit about that, we have a very, very deep roots in Mason County, going back to the logging industry. I have two parts of my family actually that worked in that industry. My dad's side, they moved here in the 1800s, late in 1800s, like 1890, they came from Germany. And so my grandfather was born here in 1896 and grew up logging and farming and working in the area. He retired as a school bus driver, and he married a great lady who moved up here from Ohio when she was a child, and she was a school teacher. So she learned to teach at what was then called County Normal, which was just a training program that we had locally here in Mason County. And she taught English. Some people still remember her. Occasionally someone will come up and say, "Was Mrs. Dostal related to you?" And it was my grandmother, yeah. So there's that side. And then my mom's side, her dad came from Sweden. So my mom's of Swedish descent, but also on my grandmother's side, from my mom, they've been around a long time. It would be my great-great-grandfather was in the Civil War, and he was with the Michigan regiments, one of them, I forget which one offhand. But so our time in Michigan goes way back before, in Ludington area, actually goes back to when we were unincorporated. It was 1840-something. So it's kind of nice to have those histories. And Bill and I were laughing, for those of you out there, that he said, first thing I looked to see if there was a Dostal Road. There isn't. We were just farmers, so we don't have roads named after us.
Well, how come they named the town after Mr. Ludington instead of Mr. Dostal?
Maybe my grandfather couldn't swing the axe fast enough. I'm not sure.
It sounds like he was right there at the outset of the whole thing. Yeah,
they were. The lumbering history that we have here is just really incredibly fun to research a little bit about, and that's why I love the connection with Justice and Paulina Stearns and the things they did for the community and how they had their hands in all of those different industries, and just really incredible. I love small towns anyway because everybody does so many different things. We have to get things done in our small communities. We have to rely on volunteerism and people blurring the lines of what they do. You can't just stay in your lane, and I really appreciate that.
Yeah. So your family has spanned 3 centuries in this area.
I guess we have. We've crossed 3 century lines for sure. Yeah. If you think of it that way, that's pretty incredible. So my wife's family has the same sort of lineage from her dad's side. Actually, they've been around forever. And oddly enough, we laugh still. My wife's grandmother taught my mom in 3rd grade or first grade maybe. So we have a picture with both of them in it when she's the teacher and my mom was in the front row. It was hilarious. So I guess it was the Lord's hand. He knew where we were headed. That's all I could say. So
How great is that?
Yeah, it's pretty incredible.
You mentioned your wife just a minute ago, and I've known Dina for a long time too. And I've got to say, you won the lottery when it came to wives. And tell us a little bit about your family and Dina's involvement with the community.
Yeah, thanks. I did win the lottery there, and definitely married up. When I got out of, so I met her, oddly enough, when I was in high school. When I moved here, of course, small town, everyone knew me. I didn't really necessarily know her because I was only there for 6 months. Yeah. But I knew her brother, Scott. We played in football together. And so Dina Engel was her maiden name. And her dad worked at Urca Auto Center. So for those who know Don Engel, he was very well known. And he also had Scottville Auto Body for years. She grew up in the area. She was born in the hospital here in Ludington. So she's very vested in that. Whenever there's a decision made, she has to put the stamp of approval on it before I say yes to anything, jokingly. But she does care a great deal about it. What she does really for her job. We have a son named Mason who has autism, and he lives with us, and that's her full-time job. She also likes to volunteer, and she hasn't been able to do that as much with Mason living with us recently. But she loves to volunteer in the hospitals, whether it's here at Gerber. She does also go down there and works in the gift shop. She loves to do that. She's a golfer. That's really her. She's very good at it, and she has a lot of good friends right here at Lincoln Hills. She'll go out and play, and she still tries to take advantage of that a couple times a week, and so that's where you'll find her a lot of times. But her full-time job is to help support me now because I am on the road a lot and I never know where I'm going to be. And more than once, she's found herself on her way to Greenville to meet me halfway for something I forgot. So I'm very thankful that I have her. And she's been right there through all of the movings around and all the different job changes. So it's been quite a run.
Well, you mentioned Mason, and it's great that you have such deep roots in healthcare, and you obviously have a chance to work with your son as well. That's really nice.
Yeah, when Mason was diagnosed, he's going to be 30 here next month. Not much was known about autism. Back then, it was something like 1 in 100,000 kids were diagnosed with autism, and now it's 1 in 8 or something like that. It's incredibly high. Gotten better about how we diagnose it, and I think that's been part of it. But there wasn't a lot for treatment, so we learned the hard way by just trying to figure our way through. And even though I'm from the healthcare world, I was a nurse for many years. Navigating that was difficult and trying to find the right sources. Luckily, here in Mason County, we have a CMH that'll help you, and we have a very good ESD that really is phenomenal. They have a lot of good people who will jump in. Back in those days, he went to early education with Taryn Raven, who started that program, and that was a lifesaver for us because they taught him some skills. He had skills that we didn't necessarily know he had, and I think that was kind of a natural thing with somebody with autism who can't talk. You just kind of do the thinking for them, and that really was the wrong move. But I'm happy to say that he's still benefited from what he learned through those programs, and he's done very well. Yeah.
And you've always said he's a wonderful guy.
He's a really nice guy. Most people know Mason when they see him, and he's a big, tall guy and just smiles most of the time and has a good time. And as long as he has, the opportunity to go out and do some things, he gets out of the house, and he'll go golfing too. It's kind of fun. He'll ride around with us in the golf cart, and he doesn't swing the clubs, but he does like to go. And many people, he does see a lot of people he knows, so I think that's a lot of fun for him.
Well, that's my grandchildren, too. Boy, you go out on the golf course, they can't wait to get behind the wheel of that golf cart.
Right? Yeah, I think that's where a lot of kids learn to drive is in those golf carts, it's a great opportunity. However, for the record, Lincoln Hills, we would never let anybody under the age of 16 drive a golf cart.
Of course not. No. Nor would I.
Good.
Well, we're sitting here in the window. We can see it's a beautiful Saturday. I'm thinking this is a pretty good day for golf right now.
It's gorgeous out there. We've had it really nice. they just had a tournament out there. It's a women's tournament called the Lollapalooza, where they have a lot of fun out there, and it's a beautiful day. I went out and worked it and volunteered to do some of the picture taking and things like that. So it was really a good time.
Yeah. Well, Drew, we feel fortunate to have you back in this area. You know, when you moved away to move out west, and we'll talk about some of those experiences in a minute here, I thought maybe we'd never see you again. So when they announced that you were coming back as president of the operation, that was pretty great. Now, you mentioned that you started in healthcare in nursing. Now, that's kind of an unusual, I would think, career path to go from nursing to president of the hospital.
Yeah, it is. It's a long road.
When I knew you, it was VP of Operations.
That's right. And that was because of a lot of trust that Mark Vipperman had in me, and he gave me an opportunity to do something that was a little outside of the box for what I had traditionally done in my role. And it was a great leadership opportunity where I learned a ton about the hospital and just how it worked. So I was fortunate enough to go to school there at West Shore Community College and came out with my associate's degree in nursing, and did a little bit of emergency room worked for Dr. Mogerman in orthopedic surgery for I think 13 years. It was a long time. And then went back to school and finished my education and came back to the hospital. And that's what I did. I worked in the ER for a little bit, and then decided I wanted to do something more, and worked on my MBA through Ferris State, and had the opportunity to run the surgery department, and that's where I learned about leadership and the different roles you could do. And so I got pretty excited about that, and I knew I wanted to at some point I wanted to run a hospital, and didn't know when that would be. I put a few goals in my mind of number of years I needed to do it in, and just started going at it. I'm very driven when it comes to things like that. If I put my mind to it, I'll find a way, and I believe that that's what we need to do. So Mark helped me a lot. Helen Johnson helped me a lot. We had a lot of really good folks back there, and Bob Johnson, and just some of the old crew around Ludington back in Memorial Medical Center
Helen's
days.
running a hospital herself, isn't she?
Yeah, I think she stopped doing that. I'm not sure. I haven't talked to her. She was going to move somewhere else. I forget where she said she was going. But it's been a while since I've spoken to her. But she went on to work in a different hospital system a little south of here, but stayed in Michigan, and she did a great job. She built a very, very good name for herself there.
Wonderful lady, I must say.
Yeah.
So anyway, well, it's fortunate for all of us that you're back here, and I've got to say to people, it's really good to have somebody of the caliber of Drew Dostal running our healthcare in this area.
So. Thank you, Bill. It's a pleasure every single day. It's a privilege for me to be able to do this. I'm going to do it as long as I can and be effective at it, and care a lot about the future of healthcare. Obviously, we all go through it. My parents went through it. My family goes through it. I do understand it.
Okay. Well, we'd like to get into some of those jobs that you had when you were spending your years in the wilderness, shall we say?
Sure.
And also, I'm sure you picked up a lot of leadership qualities in the Air Force as well, so we'll get into that. Right on the other side of this short commercial break, we'll be back with Drew Dostal, president of the Northern Region for Corewell Health.
Attention business owners, are you looking for the perfect financial partner to help your business thrive? Look no further than Safe Harbor Credit Union. Our business tiered money market account offers competitive tiered rates. The higher your balance, the higher your rate. Maintain a $5,000 minimum daily balance to enjoy our impressive APY. Plus, enjoy unlimited transactions and free digital banking with online banking, bill pay, mobile banking with mobile deposit, and free e-statements. Keep your business flexible with enhanced access to your funds and pair it easily with your business checking accounts. services. Need a reliable checking account? Our business share draft checking is free for businesses of all sizes. No monthly service fees, no minimum balance requirements, and unlimited check writing. Plus, enjoy free digital banking, a free MasterCard debit card, and more with just $25 minimum deposit to open. Establish your membership with our business share accounts, providing competitive dividends on your entire balance with no minimum balance requirements and no monthly service fees. Enjoy all the benefits of free digital banking and night drop services with only a $5 minimum deposit to open. And don't forget our merchant services and business loans. We offer competitive rates for working capital, equipment, inventory, facility improvements, and more. With quick local decision making and friendly service from start to finish, Safe Harbor Credit Union is your trusted partner for all your business needs. Go to safeharborcu.org or visit us at 5511 West US 10 Ludington. Let Safe Harbor Credit Union help your business set sail for success. Safe Harbor Credit Union, your safe port for any financial storm. APY equals annual percentage yield. Federally insured by the NCUA.
It's still cherry season at Renhack Orchards Market in Hart. Try a free sample of their hand-picked black sweet cherries and tart cherries, grown right in their own orchards. You'll also find samples of hand-picked blueberries to munch while you shop. You can get a cherry berry snack pack or get cherries or blueberries by the pint, quart, or 5-pound box with larger quantities upon request. Browse the aisles to find delicious additions to your summer meals, such as Michigan-made salsas, grilling sauces, specialty mustards, raw local honey, and tasty snacks. Check their freezers for local ice cream, frozen fruit, and locally made pies to bake at home. Senior Market Fresh and credit cards are welcome, and if you use your Bridge card, you'll get double up Food Bucks tokens for fresh produce at Renhack Orchards Market in Hart, open 8 to 6 Monday through Saturday. Just take US 31 to Hart exit 149 and go 1 mile east to 3731 West Polk Road in Hart, across from the bicycle trailhead.
Looking for a blast of summer fun? Take the family to AJ's Family Fun Center in Pentwater, open 11 a.m. to 9 p.m. Sunday through Thursday. Friday and Saturday, open 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. AJ's offers thrilling go-kart racing, exciting mini golf, and delicious ice cream. Plus, let the kids loose in our awesome arcade while you relax on the patio deck. It's the perfect way to enjoy the warm weather and create unforgettable family memories. Join the fun at AJ's Family Fun Center in Pentwater, just 2 miles west of the Oceana exit. Call us at 231-869-5641. That's 231-869-5641. AJ's Family Fun Center, where the fun never stops.
Are you looking for insurance that truly fits your unique needs? Look no further than McGee Insurance Group and Auto Owners Insurance. We've been proudly serving West Michigan since 1939, and we know that each person is different when it comes to insurance. It's our mission to personally tailor your insurance plan to your specific needs. We're not just here to sell insurance. We're here to build relationships with our customers. We take pride in getting to know you and finding the right solutions for your unique situation. So, are you ready to start building your insurance program today? Just stop by our office or give us a call at 231-845-5000. That's 231-845-5000. Join the many satisfied customers who have chosen McGee Insurance Group and Auto Owners Insurance. We're here for you.
Looking for events and happenings in the area? Look no further than Mom's Fridge Magnets. Presented by Watson Motors, West Michigan CMH, McGee Insurance, and Lakeshore Automotive and Tire. Another fridge magnet comes your way next.
Hi, this is Lori from West Michigan CMH. Recovery is a journey of healing and transformation. For mental health challenges or substance use disorders, it's about living meaningfully and striving for your full potential. Start living your best life. Call us today at 1-800-992-2061.
Is your AC on the fritz? Get it working again with Lakeshore Automotive and Tire. Expert service, quick repairs. Stay cool this summer. Visit Lakeshore Automotive and Tire today on South James Street. Your comfort is our priority.
At Golden Sands Golf and Bucket Bar, located in Mears on August 7th from 6 p.m. to 8 p.m., Leo's Classic Car Show will be in full swing. This event celebrates Leo Woodley's love of classic cars, inspired by his passion for Corvettes. All are welcome to join in the fun, so don't miss out on the opportunity to enjoy free cake and ice cream while supplies last. It's sure to be a fantastic evening celebrating classic cars and community spirit. If your group or nonprofit organization has an announcement that you would like others to know about, reach out to us and we'll add it for free to the Fridge Magnet program, thanks to Lakeshore Automotive and Tire, McGee Insurance, West Michigan, CMH, and Watson Motors.
Finding out how the journey began to their success. It's Leading West Michigan on 102.7 WMOM.
And we're back on Leading West Michigan. And we want to also welcome the people not only who are listening to us on WMOM, but watching us on the Facebook page and on YouTube. So thank you all for joining us. And our guest today is Drew Dostal, president of the not only the Ludington Hospital, but as he mentioned, a bunch of other hospitals all around the West Michigan area. So this is something interesting. I mean, it just occurs to me, running one hospital seems like a pretty tall order. So how do you handle splitting yourself up into 5 different places?
I think, I can't remember if it was Lee Iacocca's old book or who it was, but basically you hire people smarter than you. That's what we've done. So I've really benefited from the fact that we have great boots on the ground people. For instance, a lot of people know Malia Mariani here in our area. She's our chief nursing officer. She lives in the community, and she's phenomenal, and I know that she's here. Also, Cindy Larabus, who's my executive assistant here, she's been here longer than I have a history in the hospital. So
one of my favorite people in all the world.
She's great, isn't she? We're so blessed. And I have 3 of those, or 4 of those actually, spread across the hospitals, and as well as chief nursing officers, and I also have COOs as well. So, and then we have nursing directors under them. So we have some leadership structure that helps us lead the daily operations. I don't necessarily know what's going on every single day in every instance, which is fine. My job is more doing community relations, working with the physicians, making sure I'm a liaison for the community between the system of what the community needs and wants with what the system has available to offer and what we can bring to them. I also stay plugged in with the legislative side of things. I do a lot with the Michigan Hospital Association and the American Hospital Association to make sure that our voice is being heard on Capitol Hill and in Lansing. So my job has changed to strategy and things like that instead of the day-to-day operations. However, you usually will find me in the hospital because I love the people, and I don't get to see them as much as I used to. I was actually running into some folks yesterday when I was doing rounds with all this computer issue we had, and it was really good to see them all. It just felt good to be back doing hands-on work with everybody. So I still enjoy that. However, it's a part that I don't get to do very often anymore. But luckily, there are good people who do.
Well, a lot of organizations benefit from your outreach. My day job, of course, is working at a senior center over in Scottville, and we've been fortunate enough to have you come on a regular basis to update our seniors on what's happening with health care. And more recently, you have become a member of the committee to help promote the renewal of the senior millage in Mason County. And we very much appreciate your leadership in that role as well. So,
no, that's a privilege and an honor as well. And for those who don't know, I do want to plug for our 65 and over folks. It's our fastest growing demographic in Mason County. We're all headed that direction, God willing. And so we really need to make sure we're protecting and not forgetting them. As we moved into the digital world, many of them aren't prepared for that. And so we have to kind of ride with a foot in 2 canoes and make sure that people get what they need. So I love thank you for the opportunity to come and speak with them, and to your colleagues at Ludington Senior Center as well. They've also had me come and talk, and I love the opportunity to get in front of them and share what's happening and to hear what they need to see if there's something that we can answer. Sometimes people think that we can do things that aren't a thing or aren't possible. And so I can definitely listen to it and see if there is a way I can get close to what they're asking. But at the same time, explain to them if I can't, and try to help connect to the right source.
We mentioned before the break that we wanted to talk with you a little bit about your experience in the Air Force. We thank you for your service there. And what was your role? Were you a pilot? Were you in healthcare? What was your role in the Air Force?
No, they didn't trust me with those really expensive machinery. They're smart enough not to make me a pilot. Plus, I'm too tall. At 6'4", I don't fit in the cockpits at all, and my eyes are horrible. So there was no way that was going to happen. I actually went into the Air Force. Everybody, every single one of my brothers and my father and my father's brothers and my brother-in-law, everybody has been in the service and going way back. My grandfather was in World War I, my uncle was in World War II, my dad was in Korea, blah, blah, blah. It just goes and goes.
Well, now, wait a minute. You had people in the Civil War too.
We did, and so that's kind of it goes. My sister, who is a true genealogist, can search. She has us tied to almost every American war that's been fought. I think the only one we didn't have anyone involved in was the War of 1812. So. So there is a military history, and we all feel the need and call to do that. That's one way that we love to serve. And I was in law enforcement, actually, in the Air Force when I went in. So I went in with the idea, I really always kind of was attracted to law enforcement. I thought that was where my life was going to be. So I went that route and did that for 5 years. It was a great experience. I got to go all over the world, and usually was deployed when we had B-52 bombers at my base. So when they deployed to a certain area, whether it was for an actual event or was it sometimes it was just practice. We'd go somewhere, which that was always fun to go on the practice runs, obviously, because we had a lot of fun, as young 18, 19-year-old men do. So we had a pretty good time. And I really appreciate those days. It did formulate. They had a leadership school that they put me through that got me down, kind of down that path on leadership. I only had a few people report to me, but it was really something that helped shape the way I look at things. And the military, I think, I love their structure of people know when they're going to be promoted. Promotion is always there, and I think that's very motivating for the people that are in it, and it's very secure. As long as you're performing well and doing your job. So that was laid the foundation for how I think and work.
Sounds like your experience in the Air Force made some considerable changes in Drew Dostal.
It did. I learned the value of being gifted, the safety and security of other people. So when I got out of the service, I went to West Shore Community College. I was recruited when I was in Panama. I worked a lot with the DEA because we were there for the invasion of Panama, but there was a lot going on with a gentleman by the name of Pablo Escobar. He wasn't really a gentleman, but he was working with Noriega, and they were moving a lot of money and drugs through Panama. So I got to work with some of the DEA agents when I was there, doing some runs to different countries and doing some things with them. Got very interested in what they were doing, and I was on an emergency services team, which is their form of SWAT in the military, in the Air Force anyway. And they said they have that, and so I was attracted to that. So when I got out, I had to get a 2-year degree, so I went to West Shore for that reason. And I thought, well, I'm just going to get my education and join the DEA, and off I'll go. I was pointed towards nursing by the grace of God, and a wonderful counselor by the name of Tom Bell, who was out there. He said, let's take a look at your aptitude test before you commit to anything. And nursing actually rose to the very high to the top. And luckily enough, my ACT scores were quite high, and he said, I think we can get you in like next year, which was virtually impossible back then. So I said, sure, not even knowing what nursing does. And he and I explored that because he didn't know. And so we went that route and met my wife my first year in nursing school. And even then I was still thinking about the DEA, and she helped me understand that I could either choose to go the route of the DEA or I could choose to marry her. That's the decision. So I made the right decision.
I have a feeling it wasn't a very hard decision.
It wasn't hard at all. It wasn't hard at all. And, I still watch those shows sometimes about, like Narcos on Netflix. Still, I love just the intricacies of those workings, but I don't love what they do. But I love the counter, the counter effect that the police have on them. But so yeah, that's how I ended up in nursing. It was not a calling for me. It was kind of by luck, but I loved it while I was in it. And my avenue into that being orthopedic surgery was very interesting to me because we got to see the patient from the beginning of an injury to the end of an injury. And it might be 6 months, it might be 2 years if they have some big, huge reconstruction of some sort. But when we fixed them, it was very fun because I kind of like playing with tools occasionally. I don't get to do it very often, but it was putting things together. And, you know, I don't want to get graphic for people who don't like this stuff, but it's just like Tinker Toys when you're putting together a bone in many ways. You're putting back the way it was and putting screws in it. And that was so much fun that I just loved it. I love my patients too. So,
well, as one who had an Achilles tendon repaired, hit the hospital here in Ludington, I can certainly understand the fascination there. Well, we want to get back into more of your healthcare career right after this break for our sponsors.
Finding out how the journey began to their success. It's Leading West Michigan.
Where are we in the hour, Chris?
Get ready for the one-day blowout at Napa in Ludington on Tuesday, July 23rd from 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. Join us for instant rebates, special pricing on Milwaukee M12 and M18 combo kits, bare tools, lighting, and more. Meet the Milwaukee rep on site to answer all your questions and register for amazing Milwaukee giveaways, including a pack-out cooler. Trade in your eligible pneumatic or cordless tools from brands like Snap-on, Ingersoll Rand, DeWalt, and more to get up to $250 off new Milwaukee tools. Don't miss out. Visit Napa Ludington on West US 10 or call 231-845-1221 for more details. Call 231-845-1221. Napa Ludington, your destination for unbeatable tool deals.
Young Guns is a tribute to the superstars of country music, featuring songs by Big and Rich,
Riding up and down Broadway on my old stud Leroy.
the Charlie Daniels Band,
The devil went down to Georgia. He was looking for a soul to steal.
Keith Urban, Garth Brooks, Florida Georgia Line.
This is how we roll. This is how we ride. Slinging up the mud. Cut.
Young Guns plays rock anthems with a good old country feel from artists like Kid Rock, AC/DC to Bon Jovi.
Mark your calendars for an unforgettable summer evening with West Shore Bank's Rhythm and Dunes fundraiser concert, July 27th at Waterfront Park, downtown Ludington. Join us at 6 p.m. for a spectacular tribute to country music's superstars by Young Guns. Enjoy delicious food from local vendors starting at 5 p.m. And get ready to tap your feet to the opening performances by Mason County Central and Mason County Eastern High School bands. Come celebrate community spirit, support local businesses, and help raise funds for high school band programs. Don't miss this free event where music and community come together. Learn more or donate today at rhythmanddunes.com. West Shore Bank, member FDIC, equal housing lender.
Thank you, West Michigan, for over 75 years of creating sweet memories at House of Flavors Restaurant in downtown Ludington.
Hi, everybody. This is Ed Santorelli. Want to invite you down to the House of Flavors. It's a happy place. If you're crabby, stay home. But if you want to be happy, come down to the House of Flavors. Congratulations. So lucky to live in Ludington and so lucky to call people at the House of Flavors my friends. You want to be treated like you're at home? Go to the House of Flavors. Love you all. Later.
House of Flavors Restaurant in downtown Ludington, still making sweet history and memories today.
Finding out how the journey began to their success. It's Leading West Michigan on 102.7 WMOM.
And we're back on Leadership West Michigan with our special guest, Drew Dostal, president of the Ludington Hospital and the whole northern region for Corewell Health. Well, Drew, you were working here at the Ludington Hospital, and you had a very important role there, but you aspired to higher things. And so you went far afield to get the experience you needed to get into those leadership roles that you aspired to. And so tell us a little bit about your years in the wilderness of Western United States.
Absolutely. I did have the opportunity to run ambulatory surgery centers in Bozeman, Montana, which surgery was my background, so I love that idea. It was actually for profit. And I hadn't done that yet, so I wanted to understand that world a little bit and what the difference was and just the different pace of work and the different things that were possible, because the innovation that was possible in that little ambulatory surgery center was endless when it came to surgery. So we had the opportunity to create new business while I was there, and I really enjoyed that. The doctors formed the board of who I reported to. So I had orthopedic surgeons who were my bosses, and some GI doctors and podiatrists, and they were all very open-minded to me running with it and trying to figure out how to bring more business. So we were able to add a surgery center, one unit while we were there, one operating room, and bring in plastic surgery. So that was the only thing we really added. Plus, we did the very first total knee in an outpatient setting in Montana. There, it was partial knee, and so that was really cool to be able to be innovative like that. But I got a call from a gentleman I knew who was with Banner Health, and he actually ran all of what was called the Western Division, and that was everything in, if I remember right, Nebraska, Wyoming, Colorado at the time. And he said, "Hey, I've got a couple hospitals that we need presidents for if you'd like to come and take a look." So I did, and I went to 3 different hospitals for him. One was in Arizona. One that was near the Grand Canyon in Page, Arizona, up north. One was in Sterling, Colorado, and one was in Ogallala, Nebraska, and that was a tiny hospital. And so, oddly enough, my wife and I kind of laughed when we were going to Nebraska. We don't want to go to Nebraska. We love Nebraska. We went there and interviewed, and it was the best interview I ever had, and the people were just phenomenal. They're just the nicest people you'll ever meet. And so,
well, that's fascinating to me, because I want to tell you, Drew, I've been to Montana, and if you have a meaningful job in Montana, it's hard for me to understand moving away from there.
Well, so one of the things that is in my makeup is I love to work, and frankly, I was bored. We were doing, I hate to say that, it sounds horrible, but we were doing so well that I would finish working at 3:30 and go fly fishing every day, which is not a bad life, but
there was no challenge.
It wasn't as challenging as I wanted. So when I went to Nebraska, it was Western Nebraska, which is quite beautiful. Some people say they don't like Nebraska. If you've never gotten off of I-80, you probably don't.
I've driven through Nebraska. I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. You get a little north or south, and it's quite lovely. And so we went there, and we stayed there for 4 years and worked for Banner Health. They were our healthcare system, and they're the size of Corewell. They were about then probably 63,000 people across 6 states. So I learned how to be part of a big health system there, and that was really enjoyable to me. Kind of bringing some new things to the area.
That had to be quite an education in itself, I would think.
It was, and being that rural, we learned how to do some different recruiting techniques to make sure doctors were coming, and it was fun. It was really a great experience for me, and we could have stayed there forever, but actually had the opportunity to go to New Mexico next, and got the call from one of their hospitals looking for a president, and that was in the extreme east side of New Mexico, almost straight south of where I was in Nebraska, and for all intents and purposes.
Right up against the border with Texas, then.
Yeah, maybe 20 miles from Texas. Yeah, it was. They consider themselves West Texas, but if you ask West Texas people, they say no, they're not. They're not West Texas. But I think they thought of themselves as that, and. It wasn't visually pretty where I lived at all, but it was a fascinating job, and there was an Air Force base right there. And it was a special operations wing, which was really neat because they had all the various Navy SEALs and pararescue men. And we were in that little hospital of 100 beds. We were doing 1,100 births a year. So all the young people from the Air Force base were having babies. So it was amazingly busy. And then COVID struck in the middle of my tenure there. I was only there a few months when COVID was kind of oncoming, and I got the call from what was then Spectrum Health. One of the recruiters who knew me or he wasn't a recruiter, he was an HR manager who knew me from the old days. He called me and said, "Why haven't you applied for this job? You should look at it." And so I didn't realize there was a job open here in Ludington. So I applied, and the rest is history. It was just meant to be, and that's how we ended up back here during COVID. But it was a big circle that we made, and I honestly didn't ever think I was coming back. I mean, it's one of those things where you go where you're called, and if it feels right, you do it. And I'm very happy we made the decision. We were able to come back. It was good timing, and of course, this is family. And my grandmother actually wrote something for the old Mason County family history book that they used to do back in 1980s, and it said, for some reason, for the Dostal family, Mason County is always the place of their dreams. Well, here we are again. So I know what she's talking about, and it called me back. So glad to be here.
Yeah, well, we're glad you made that decision, but had to be difficult.
It was I felt. We learned a lot in the process of being in the other systems to see how things are done, which has helped. We were talking off camera earlier about the fact that I still have a lot of friends in those Western hospitals that I can call on and say, hey, what are you doing for this? Mm-hmm. And they're happy to share, of course, and they'll ask me the same thing. So we're able to kind of back and forth a little bit about ideas and things we can try, and it's really wonderful to have those connections.
Now, when you took this job, were you aware that an integration with another healthcare organization might be on the horizon, or was that a surprise when it came along?
I wasn't a surprise. I knew that healthcare is headed that way to a large degree anyway. There's been a lot of merger with folks just trying to strengthen their themselves so that they can make it to the next generation. And obviously a big part of that is making sure that legislatively you have a voice, and you do that with a large organization, you have a much bigger voice. So it didn't surprise me that I didn't know that the legacy Beaumont hospitals would be the one that they would integrate with. Mm-hmm. However, there was no talk of it when I came in, so I didn't really know what to expect. All I knew is that they needed some help with what was going on with COVID. So that was my focus, and I jumped in both feet to that.
Oh, pretty fascinating stuff.
Mm-hmm.
The name Corewell.
Mm-hmm.
I'm kind of fascinated with why things are named. I'm always talking to the television when I see commercials for medications, and I said, that name has nothing to do with what that medication does. So anyway, why Corewell as opposed to, let's say, Carewell? Or what's the genesis for the Corewell name?
The bottom line is nobody had a name like this, and we needed one that identified ourselves as the system, and the great big system in Michigan. And people know that now. When I go to different things in the American Hospital Association, we might be in Florida. If I say Corewell, they know exactly who we're talking about. Right. When we were Spectrum, people out there in Facebook land, what's the first thing you think of when you think of Spectrum? Internet. Like the internet or TV, right?
There are a lot of things named Spectrum, aren't there?
There are. And actually, there were over 40 in the United States Spectrum titled healthcare organizations. So as a matter of fact, we couldn't even use our name in some of those states because of trademark laws.
I would think you'd get sued.
Yeah. So when we were Spectrum Health and we were trying to go to whatever location there might already be a Spectrum Health, we had to be very careful. Mm-hmm. So it took a long time. For a long time, we were called BHSH, which a lot of people were like, is that Beaumont Health, Spectrum Health? Well, you might have said that, but really our legal name was BHSH. It didn't stand for anything. So
hard to imagine what those signs would look like.
Yeah, it doesn't flow. They just use it as a placeholder. And so they came up with Corewell, and just through working with marketing companies and making sure that nobody had it in the United States, and that it wasn't offensive to anybody coming from another culture, so that you didn't want to name it something that meant something horrible in a different language that no one really realized, or it was slang for something. So they had to be very cautious of how they did that. It's quite fascinating. There was a lot that went into that, and a lot of manpower and great minds leaned into that one to figure it out. It took a lot of patient deliberation.
All right. Well, let's take a break here, and we'll be back with Drew Dostal to talk a little bit about healthcare in the local area here in Mason County.
Great.
Go with the pros, call ProMaster.
I love summer. I can't wait for our family and friends to come to town. Me either. But my parents want the house to be perfect and are worried about the dirty carpets and stained furniture. They should call my mom and dad at ProMaster Cleaning and Restoration. They're cleaning experts.
That's right. At ProMaster Cleaning and Restoration, we are cleaning experts. As a locally owned company with 20 years in business, our technicians are certified experts in removing dirt, stains, and allergens from any surface, including air ducts, dryer vents, flooring, and upholstery. As a locally owned company with 20 years in business, our technicians are certified experts in removing dirt, stains, and allergens from any surface, including air ducts, dryer vents, flooring, upholstery, and even more.
Go with the pros, call ProMaster. 757-9061.
Looking for a fun and energetic way to get in shape in downtown Ludington? Join us at North Star Fitness. Our state-of-the-art facility offers a wide range of group fitness classes to help you reach your fitness goals. Whether you're into Pilates, yoga, or high-intensity interval training, we offer something for everyone. Our experienced instructors will motivate and guide you through each workout, ensuring you get the most out of your exercise routine. Plus, our vibrant community members will make you feel right at home. Come join us at North Star Fitness and take the first step towards a healthier, happier you. Visit us today at 311 South Rath in downtown Ludington, or check out our website, ludington.fit. Be fit, be strong, be part of the North Star Fitness community.
Finding out how the journey began to their success. It's Leading West Michigan on 102.7 WMOM.
And we're back on Leading West Michigan with Drew Dostal. And we want to talk about the local hospital as we sit here at WMOM, the Ludington Corewell Hospital. I've seen an awful lot of construction and cranes and people climbing all over that building of late, and I just wonder, what's going on? What are you doing in there?
Oh, we're just putting new wallpaper up is all.
Oh, yeah, sure. I believe it.
No, it's been a very busy couple years. We have done, many people know we have the cancer center that just opened in February. That was a project that went on for over a year. The original cancer center that we built years ago when I was here was very small, and we learned how small it was during COVID. If you had treatment there, thank you for your patience and being wonderful patients to us, because it was small and we knew how congested it was. It wasn't ideal, but we needed a place where people could receive great care, so we were able to build that with the help of the community. The community put in $1.3 million towards that cancer center, which is from our foundation. So thank you all for that. That's amazing. And Corewell was able to put in the remaining several $1 million to make sure that we had a great place. And it's really been phenomenal. Now, currently what's happening is the inpatient side of things is being totally revamped. We've already finished the ICU area. That's looking very, very good. If you haven't been up there as a patient, you'll find that now the ICUs actually have bathrooms and showers in the rooms. They never had bathrooms or showers. It was humiliating for people to have to, if you had to use a commode, we just pulled a curtain around you and there you went. Mm-hmm. Wasn't ideal. So now it definitely speaks to people's, we want to make sure that people have an experience that maintains their level of humanity. And so we have that. It's beautiful. The staff love it, but we're finishing that. So we still have it'll be February when we finish, or maybe March, when we completely are finished up there. And then all of the rooms will have bathrooms and showers in them. Back when you were there, Bill, remember when people walked down the hallway for a shower? And
trying to hold those gowns tight behind them.
Yes, the gowns are revealing. So this is way better. It just will maintain dignity.
That sounds like a remarkable improvement.
It's been a great road, and it's a $15 million improvement to the community. And for those who don't know, when we built the new part of the hospital, when we put surgery in and all that, we spent less than $15 million. And that was where we built a new ER and everything, and the whole entrance we turned the hospital around and faced it towards the road instead of facing the north. And so the prices are going up. It doesn't look like from the outside we're getting much for all the money that we spent, but it's amazing when you go up there.
It has to be great for the patients.
It's all about the patients. This is for our community members 100%. Staff don't mind either. Trust me, they love the fact that they have a comfortable place to work, and they're more they're more productive. They can get to what they need at the end of the day much better and safer. But at the same time, it brings technology to the hospital that we never had before, or we had with additions that were in the way. Now they're not in the way. They're on the wall.
Well, you're a fellow who is always looking ahead. What thoughts do you have as to what's in store for the Ludington Hospital in the future?
Well, one of the things that we're exploring right now, and we're definitely looking at, is artificial intelligence and how that plays a part in healthcare. But at the same time, we have to maintain the privacy and dignity of patients with that as well. The problem with artificial intelligence is it learns, but it also becomes a depository for other people to tap into. So we're cautiously approaching that so we don't share people's information. At the same time, we don't reveal things in the hospital that we're working on, because there are, obviously we're very transparent with things, but there's timing of talking about things because you don't have the whole idea, and then people want the answers and you don't have them.
Right.
So we have to be cautious of how we use AI. But where I'm seeing that work is now in the physician's offices, where they can actually sit down with Drew comes to the office and says, hey, I have a headache. AI can actually listen to the conversation and start to formulate based on what the physician has done for somebody in my situation in the past for diagnosing and prescribing, whether it's therapy or medication or whatever it may be. And what that does is it pre-populates the physician's notes so they spend far less time digging into that. That's one thing we're doing. We're also initiating something called an inboxologist, which is a provider that can go into the doctor's emails and help them answer things quickly for people, so they don't have to wait until the end of the week for the physician to finally get to their message. It's happening daily. Oh. So it's very quick when we do that. So those are a couple of the cool things. I think those are going to be, technology is going to be the key to everything. You'll probably change the way that we deliver care to many people. Will make it easier for people to access. If you don't want to come and see a doctor, you do it on your phone. Yeah. And it's very interesting where we're headed with that.
There's a lot of telehealth going on now.
Absolutely. COVID helped us find the way quicker than anything else would have. So if you want to find a bright side, there you go. It's telehealth became a real tool for us.
Well, I will say, not only as a former employee there, but also as a continuing patient, I have had such excellent health care. Dr. Overmeyer is really a remarkable doctor, I think, and we do have a lot of very fine physicians in this area.
Absolutely do. The level of caring that you'll receive in that hospital, I hope, is nobody will do it better than that. It's local people taking care of local people for the most part. I mean, we do have some physicians that travel in, but most of them understand and live in the community, and they want to be there for them. So that personal touch is something we really thrive on, and hope that we deliver every single day.
Now, I don't have to tell you that some people are a little resistant to change, shall we say. And there's been a lot of change in our modern world, and there will continue to be. As you've gone through the progression from a local hospital to a system hospital and then to a bigger system hospital, I hear people say sometimes, "Oh, they're getting too big. They don't have the personal touch anymore." Well, I know you as an individual and a person, and the kind of person you are. But what do you say to people who feel that change is maybe just too much for them to handle?
I can't help them if they can't handle that's changing. It is changing, and we're trying to make it for the better. It may be rocky sometimes when we make changes because it's a paradigm shift for people, and I totally understand that. We try to be gentle about it and mindful when we do it, and we try not to make changes that don't make sense. So hopefully it'll all iron out in the future. But the only thing that we can guarantee is that change is going to happen, and we can wait for it to happen to us, but we don't want that to happen to us because we will be left behind in Ludington and all parts in the rural communities. We just can't afford to do that.
So what's ahead for Drew Dostal? You're successfully running 5 different major hospitals right now. Do you think they're going to be expanding your region, or do you think you're going to settle in and be able to focus on the ones you have?
Right now, I'm focused on my executive assistants would all say I pretty much focus on whatever's on my calendar that day, trying to figure out what do we need to do right now. But that's where my focus is. And these 5 hospitals that I have right now is all I'm not all I'm worried about, but it's my focus. So. I don't know whether they'll offer more or need more in other areas, but I'm happy to help where I can. And we have great people here that are going to help run the show no matter what happens. And just know that what happens in the rural communities, my voice is for you. And that's why I do what I do.
Okay. Well, Drew Dostal, we have certainly appreciated hearing from you about healthcare and about some of the fascinating family history that you have in West Michigan. So Drew Dostal has been our guest on Leading West Michigan. And looking ahead to next week, we're going to be talking with the current and the incoming county administrators here in Mason County, Fabian Nizaki and Caitlin Skipka. So we're looking forward to hearing about that and about the changes in the wind for Mason County as well. So Drew Dostal, thank you very much. We appreciate your time today.
Thank you, Bill. It was a pleasure.
And this has been Leading West Michigan. We'll see you next week.
You've been listening to Leading West Michigan, a weekly program where you hear success stories of local officials and business leaders. Join us next week for more of Leading West Michigan right here on 102.7 WMOM. Thanks for making us number one.